What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the first part of section 5, which is going to be talking about the basics of HTML. So why do we care about HTML? Well, you're going to want to understand HTML both to use it for developing with it. So if you're going to be doing any sort of web development, you are going to use HTML. But also if you want to, say, parse from HTML or read the internet with a program like Python and what we've been doing, you're going to need to understand how HTML works so you know how you can pull it apart. So there are really just an unlimited ways that you could make elements and tags and stuff like this with HTML, and a number of ways that you could structure data on a page. But generally, you've got the same major types of tags. You've got the main HTML tags, then you've got title tags, for sure you've got some paragraph tags in there, maybe some div, and some other stuff that we'll be covering. If that doesn't mean anything to you, that's okay. But generally, everything boils down to a very similar structure across no matter what the website is. They've got to have some of the same things. So first of all, to work with HTML, it'd be wise to get Notepad++. Now, the Notepad++ is just a simple text editor, but it comes with a few other things like text highlighting, which is kind of where it changes color, and it does a few other nifty little things that when you're doing HTML, it just makes sense to have Notepad++. So to get Notepad++, you can go to, say, google.com and just do a search for Notepad++, and that should give you a return that is notepad-plus-plus.org. Go ahead and click on that, and then go to downloads and go ahead and get Notepad++. Now, if you do not get Notepad++, you can use just about any text editor, but it is going to be kind of confusing to use without Notepad++. So it's not a requirement, but this is what basically everyone uses, so unless they have some sort of custom editor and stuff like that, which do exist, but that's going to vary by language. But for general HTML editing, people use Notepad++. So pause the video while you're downloading that, and then resume once you actually have it. Now, once you have Notepad++, just open up a new kind of file here, and you can type immediately into this. So we could start, just type in stuff. But the problem is we want to type HTML. But let's say we were going to type Python just to show, and we said define function, right, or something like this. We're noticing that it's not noticing anything special about this. Well, what we need to do is we need to save the file. So you save it as the file type that it is. So what we can do is we can go File and then Save As. So we'll click that. And then here, you can save it as what you want. See, right now it's a .txt. But what if we saved it, if we went like all the way up to the top? Let's just say all types, so we can write our own extension. And we'll just call this html.html. We hit save. And now, first of all, we saw that this got bold, but also, first of all, that's Python, but what we've said is this, hey, this is an HTML file. So now when we do things like HTML tags, so a tag is like these greater than and less than signs. So actually, this would be a less than and greater than sign. And then, for example, the first tag that you'll have in an HTML document is going to be HTML tags. So you'll have HTML. And when you put the L there, you should notice that this turned blue. And what that does is it denotes that, hey, this is a tag element. Basically, all HTML documents, you don't really have to have HTML there. It'll be kind of default understood by most browsers. But it's a good idea to go ahead and have that. So you've got HTML. And then anytime you open tags, you have to close tags. Now, you'll see a couple tags as we progress through here that don't close. They're just a tag in themselves. So this is like an opening tag. And then you can also have tags that are just like one tag and it's got a slash, and that closes the tag immediately. But what we're going to do is like this. So you've got HTML, and then you're going to close it with a slash, HTML. And you'll see that they're highlighted in purple because that's what we're clicking on. But if you click off, you'll just see it's blue. But as time goes on and you've got lots of tags and you've got things and things and things, what you can do is you can start to highlight one tag and it'll highlight the start part of that tag. So if that doesn't make much sense at the moment, it'll make more sense as we start building our HTML. So generally within an HTML document, you of course have the HTML tags, and you might have things like HTML, and then you might have something that's like lang for language, and you might have, English or whatever. It's not really necessary to have anything there, but you can put it there if you wanted. The next thing you're going to almost always see is going to be these tags that are head, H-E-A-D. And we'll go ahead and be good people and close them off. And within head, you're going to have header information. Now, this is a lot kind of like, it's like some default information to kind of pass on to the browser. So if you recall, whenever we were Urllibing, we defined our header, and then within our header, we defined a user agent. And that was just kind of something that we were giving to the server. It wasn't anything they were going to really do. It was just some information. This is kind of the same thing. We put some general information inside the head, and the browser really kind of decides if it wants to use it or not. Now, the next point I'd like to make is generally, if you're coming from Python, you don't have to worry about what are called standards for the most part. You have to worry about PEP 8. But you don't have to worry too much about making your code look pretty, because Python just by default does the indentation. HTML doesn't. You can actually write all of your HTML on one line. You wouldn't even need to do enters or anything like that. But it's best practice to go ahead and indent code within, or tags within tags. Now, generally with HTML tags, what goes within HTML tags, a lot of people don't indent, so you've got HTML head, because basically everything is going to be within HTML tags. So a lot of people just go ahead and don't indent there because it's kind of silly to. Now, to indent a bulk bit of text, we're going to indent then unindent these two lines here. To indent a bulk of text, you just highlight and you can press tab. But to de-indent, you can highlight and then press shift tab, and that will go back the other way. You could indent, one line at a time, or even just use spaces or whatever, but it's easier if you highlight and tab. But anyway, like I was saying, you don't really need to indent the children tags to the HTML. It just doesn't really, you're usually not even going to see the HTML because everything is contained within it. So anyways, we've got head, and again, head just contains information that you give to the browser. So one of the things that is going to be in the head is going to be title tags. So title, and then we'll go ahead and immediately close off our title tags, and we'll just say this is the website title. Awesome. So let's go ahead and save that, and let's open this up in a browser. So I've opened it up, and here it is here. This is our old Notepad stuff, but this is our HTML file. There's really nothing within here, but you should notice that the title of the tab, if you're using kind of a modern browser, should say website title. That should be whatever you put in here. Now, there's a lot of other stuff to include within the head, and then obviously we're going to get into even more detail with the body and all this kind of stuff that you're going to see. But this makes pretty good stopping points. So we're going to go ahead and continue on with the HTML structure in the next tutorial, so stay tuned for that.